Hey, everybody, welcome back to Men Cry in the Car podcast, episode 21. Episode 21 is almost the end of the year, and we have been going strong since May. I'm so thankful for everyone that has joined as a guest. I'm thankful for those that have subscribed. We're almost at, I think we're almost at 100. And I'm really excited about that. Now, 100 may not be good for you, but it is excellent for me because it's my first podcast. However, the men are continuing to show up and show out and talk about feelings and emotions. Today, I have Travis Vinson on. He is an educator, he's a mentor, he's a coach, he's a father, he's a husband, he's all things, and we'll get to learn more about him. Quick story though. So, Travis is the husband of one of my business besties, and she's an amazing woman. And I've been trying to get him on for a while. So, um, quiet as is kept, he's been voluntold to come on the show, but he's very comfortable and he has agreed, and we're gonna bring him on. And so, let's bring on Travis Benson. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hello, everyone.
Yes. Say
I'm
hi to
glad to be
people.
on
Yes.
here. Thank you for inviting me or having my wife voluntold me,
Absolutely,
but I'm
absolutely,
glad
and
to be
thank
here
you.
regardless.
Yeah, just thank you for being here because again, this can be a space of vulnerability, transparency that some men are not agreeable to do. So thank you for being here. As I told you before, this is a safe, brave space. It's a comfortable space. So anything you want to talk about, we can talk about. Anything you don't want to talk about, then we will respect that. Okay.
Okay.
So first of all, Travis, because I know you to be Tiffany's husband, I know you're more than that. Um, I know you have a name. You know how when you
I
were in
know.
college, you're like, oh, Tiffany's husband. Oh, Tiffany. No, no, no. You have a name, and the name is Travis. So just tell us more about you, like who you are, and then we'll just jump on in.
Well, first of all, let me say I am Tiffany husband. I am Tiffany husband, but I am also, as you said, I'm an educator. I've been an educator for like almost 19, 20 years. And I have been coaching for about that long as well. I coach both football and basketball, but recently, the last few years, I have given up basketball. And, I need more time to be with my wife, so I gave up one of the sports. But I have greatly enjoyed my time as an educator and as a coach. And I have two boys. They both are older now. They are 23 and 22, and that's pretty much it. Um, a lot of my time is now spent caregiving for my wife, and I continue to coach and I continue to be educated, but I do spend a lot of time with her, and I don't have to spend as much time with my boys because they're pretty much grown. So usually just me and Tiffany now.
Okay. So I titled this episode as Family Man simply because I know that you are a family man, and we do talk about our husbands on the side. I just want you to know that. Like I talk about mine, Tiffany talks about you. Like we talk about our husbands, but we also know that we have married terrific men. Like I tell Tiffany about you all the time. I'm like, he is amazing, and she's like, yeah, you're right. And so I just wanted to title that, even though again, I know you are more than a family man. I title that because I see you as that. I see you as being fathers to those sons at school that don't have present fathers or fathers that have removed themselves. Being an educator, you are a dad to almost every child that comes into contact with you simply because you are the second parents that they have. You know, they have the parents at home and then the parents at school. So I just felt like that was like most befitting. And I was just like, yeah, he is a family man simply
Well,
because that is what it is, right? And
yes.
so I just wanted to ask you this. Me titling the family man, what does that mean to you? Like, what does the family man
All
mean
right.
to you?
So obviously, when you talk about family, man, you're talking about your initial family. Um, Being married, Tiffany and I have been married over 20, this will be our 24th year. And our kids will have a kid 23, 22. So I have been a family man in respect to my wife and my children for a very long time. And, at a very young in their age when their kids were babies, I did a lot of things for them. I bathed them, I read them stories, I got them ready for school, cooked their meal. So I have been doing a lot. And I know sometimes men think it's the woman thing to do that, change diaper.
Mm-hmm.
But not me. I didn't mind getting my hand dirty, doing whatever I need to do to help my wife out. And not just to help out, just to be a father to these guys, to my young men. So it was not about just helping her out, but just stepping up, being a father. I didn't have my dad around like that. And I like, okay, I want to be better. I want to be better. I want to be the family man, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
show them the way this is done, and to be present physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I want to be present for my guys.
Absolutely.
And
So
when it
let's talk
comes
about it because I was just about to ask you about that. And when it comes to what?
when it comes to the school life, I am
Uh-huh.
around those kids a lot. Um, when they come to school, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then since I coach, we there with them till almost 6, 7 o'clock. So I'm probably with them more so than their father if they have father in the household.
Mm-hmm.
So I do get a lot of times. I get a lot of time with those boys because I do coach boys
Mm-hmm.
football now, and some I have to take home, some I have to pick up in the morning. So I do spend a lot of time with them, and they do see me as an extension of their father. So
Mm-hmm.
I take that very seriously too, because I want to help them become very good young men or great young men in the future. So
Mm-hmm.
I take that
Mm-hmm.
part very seriously as well.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, yes, I feel like I know you simply again from Tiffany, but I feel
Hmm.
like you do take that, like you hold that dear, like you have pride in that. Being a father to your natural sons, and then being a father to these boys at school, and then you were talking about you didn't have that growing up, and that's where I wanted to go just for a second, if you don't mind.
Hmm.
You becoming the family man, and I may use this a few times, but you becoming a family man that you are now because your father, you were not raised by your father, or he wasn't present. Is
I,
that the reason that you show up the way you do now?
I think that has a lot to do with it.
Okay.
My father, he wasn't present. My mom and him never got married or anything like that. But he did start coming around when I got a little older. My father has a farm, and I this is what I put with it. When I got old enough to work, he came around a lot, so he can go help me out there working. And then he did get remarried, and he had the woman that he married had additional kids or had kids already. None of his kids, and I felt as if no, he was there for them more so than he was for me. I don't hold that against him or anything like that, but I saw how that dynamic was, and I wanted to be better than that. And so, and I don't know if it was conscious or unconsciously, but when I did become married and have my own kids, I just knew that I wanted to be there for them more so than he
Mm-hmm.
was there for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if that was conscious or unconscious, but that's how it panned out to be.
You know, a lot of men say that. And then let me ask you this. Your father wasn't around or he wasn't present, but he came around when you were old enough to work for him. How old was that?
Um,
What was that age for you?
I'm thinking is around 11, 12. I think I was still around middle school age
Okay.
when he first started coming back around. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the fact that he started coming back around too. Another thing is, other than me being old enough to work, I think he
Yeah.
had married this lady he thought can help him with kids. I don't think he was good with managing his own kids or things like that. So I think he had somebody he thought that okay, she can help cook, help help with the kids a little more so than what he can do. And and then just thinking about my dad, he was never that emotional person or that person
Mm-hmm.
who was
Mm-hmm.
good with uh, being domesticated. I don't know what that means, but I'm thinking about cleaning, cooking, doing all those things like that. So I think he started taking me and bringing me around her because she was able to do those things. Because I never remember him cooking or anything like that. So he was by himself for that time
Mm-hmm.
period before he got married. So he was not good with those things. So maybe that's another reason why I wasn't around a lot.
Mm-hmm. A couple of questions are coming up to me. Okay, I want to start here. He started coming around when you were 11 and 12. So what part, like, what did you miss? with him not being around. Okay, now you're 11 and 12. Now you
Yeah.
know in your body. Now some things that happen. Maybe you starting to like girls now. Like, what was that you felt like? Okay, Dad, you weren't around, but I missed that. I
I,
missed this with
I
you.
don't think I
Now,
missed
now I'm
anything.
11. I'm 12.
But I don't think I missed anything because
Okay.
the other kids that are around, they didn't have their father. So, you never miss what you don't have. And everybody around me, their father was absent too. So, me thinking of being a kid, I'm like, this natural. Your mom around, that's it. I never thought that I was missing anything from him not being around. But so I didn't hold that against him or I wasn't mad or upset or anything like that. I just thought
Hmm.
it was a natural way of being. Nobody around me had my my cousins. None of them had their father around. So
Oh,
I
well,
was
this changed everything for me. Okay, so
yeah,
you
none of
grew up.
them. So
Okay,
it never affected me not one bit.
because that's what you saw. This
Yeah,
was the
that's all.
norm.
That's all I knew.
No, none of the boy cousins. Nobody had their
Kids at
father.
school, none of those. So I was
Okay,
missing anything. I just thought that's where it was. All my friends. I don't.
that's the way
I
it was.
had one friend when I got a little older. He had his dad in his life, but the rest of
Hmm.
them they did not. So it
Okay,
just it was just the way we were brought up. So I didn't miss anything. I didn't
okay.
feel like I was missing anything.
So so your mom grew up. You grew up with your mom, and there was a single mom. That's how it
Yes,
was, right? Okay. So with your mom being a single parent or taking care of you, you do you have siblings?
I do.
Okay,
Brother and
taking
sister.
care taking care of you and your siblings, and you felt you didn't miss the absent father. It didn't matter because nobody around had a father
Yeah.
figure in the home anyway. So how was that growing up, having the love from the mom and not the father? If you didn't feel like it was missed, like how was it growing up?
Well, I would say I was a regular kid. Went outside and played. Got in some mischievous deeds here and there. Um, my so I it was just normal. It was just the normal way of having it. Um, like I said, my cousin they didn't have the father, so and my mom. I think my mom and her sister they was very close. So
Hmm.
it was like a village raising a kid or kids. Um, my mom had my mom have she had I don't know about five female sibling and she had some five brothers. So she had five brothers, five sisters,
Okay.
and only a couple of those got married. Only
Hmm.
a couple of those got married. So it's just the way it was. It was normal to me that
Hmm.
not having a dad.
Hmm.
And when he came around, I like this is my dad,
Hmm.
and we went to work, but we didn't have that
Hmm.
one father time, nothing like that. We might play basketball here and there. When he got with his wife, he took us to the park occasionally. We played basketball like that, but by him not being around, it didn't affect me much. And I
Okay.
know I do have a sister though. By
Hmm.
him, I know the black family
Hmm.
dynamic. I have a brother and a sister on my mom's side and a brother and sister on my dad's side. But my sister feel on my dad's side feel completely different than how I feel. She felt that she missed out on some things because he was not around,
Yeah.
so she that comes up a lot with her, and
Hmm.
uh, and she's about 47 now, so she still have some ill feeling towards my father for
Okay.
not being around and not doing what he's supposed to do as a father. But she was in a different situation. The people who she was around, they had fathers in the household.
Hmm.
She moved to Alaska, and everybody in Alaska pretty much had their fathers in the household. So her
Yeah.
dynamic was different, and
It's different.
her experience without the father was completely different than mine. So, and I
Okay.
think that's why she still has some ill feeling towards it today because her surrounding without having a father versus mine,
Hmm.
everybody that did
Yeah,
not have a father.
for sure. Okay, so again, this is going to be like a generation type thing. If no one, okay, thank you for that. So if that is the case, where do you feel like you found like the emotional space to share your feelings, your thoughts, um, desires? I mean, because a lot of us grow up with parents. Some do not. But when we have those parents, it's more like I'm learned. Like it's me. I learned from my dad what to expect from a man, and then I saw from my mom. This is how I'm supposed to be a lady. So if the dad wasn't in the picture, like where did that come from? Like where did you get? Not the manly roles,
Like
but
my
like
role
you know what
model.
I'm
Who was my
saying? Yeah,
role
the role
model?
model. Like where did
My
you get
role
that?
model. Um, I can't say I knew a role model, a
Mhm.
father figure role model. I can't say
Mhm.
I had one. Maybe my coaches, maybe and my coaches, we were not that close, so I don't know. It's just something
Yeah.
that I wanted to do, something in me,
Okay.
like making a conscious choice not to drink. I had people around me who drank, and
Mhm.
but I made like I didn't want to do that. I
Mhm.
just made that choice, and I just made a conscious choice that I want to be a present father for my kids. So
Yeah.
I don't think I had a role model to show me what it is. It's just a lot was trial and error.
Mhm.
I know that I wanted to make sure my boys had the best upbringing they can. I wanted to give them all of me. And maybe I'm not that emotional. So my wife did a great part with the emotional part because
Mhm. Mhm.
I guess I don't know why I'm not a very emotional person. I'm not saying I won't cry here and there, but
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
not that emotional. I'm not moved by emotion. I'm more a factual
Mhm.
person.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
not having a role model in that sense, I don't know where that came from, man. It's just something I can't say point to one person saying this person was a role model here and there.
Mhm.
But I did have some coaches around, but they was all
Yeah.
about football and stuff like that, basketball. They didn't teach me how to be a man. That
Mhm.
stuff just was I just learned how to do that stuff from
Like
my
you said, trial and error, and there could be traits from a certain coach or a certain teacher, a certain that you pull from. And also, I do know, like when you don't have certain things in the home, you create that for yourself. Like you said, trial and error. And then as you were speaking, it a comment came up. It said absentee fathers do leave an impact on the individuals. And then another one has as I had an absentee parent, and being the fact that he was absent, I learned late how to love someone because I never saw it in my home.
hmm
Um, what do you say to that?
Well, I say the thing is, some people just have it. I'm going to be better, and the fact that that father was not there, maybe he wanted to show his wife or his significant other love because he never saw his mom being loved. And
Mm-hmm.
speaking of my mom, my brother, my younger brother, uh,
Mm-hmm.
father was around occasionally. I would see
Okay.
that, but I never saw a real connection between them. And I never thought because um, I thought this guy was no good for my mom because he would put his hands on her. And that's
Uh,
another thing I knew. I definitely didn't want to be like that.
yes.
And then my mom had, my mom would not leave him. I don't know what kind
Mm-hmm.
of hold he had on her. I don't know. I don't know what kind of hold he had on her, but she stayed there she stayed with him off and on. And
Mm-hmm.
but I know that type of love I didn't want for my wife, or when I decide to have a wife or have a wife, I know I did not want to put my hands on her because I saw that.
That's right.
So you do learn lessons from other people the way you want to be. So sometimes you don't have to do exactly what the person do. You can do opposite of what a person
Mm-hmm.
does, because and it has to be in you. Some people like say, "Oh, I saw my father beat my wife, so that I'm gonna be a wife beater, or I'm gonna be a
Mm.
woman beater." But sometimes it goes opposite.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so that I think it's more like opposite for me. I want to be present for my wife. I want to be present for my kids versus what I saw in my household. I want to make sure my kids have all their needs. They might not got everything they wanted, but they had all their needs
For
and things like
sure.
that. Because my mom did struggle. My mom struggled with us with her three kids, and she did the best she could. Um, she did the best she could. The things that she had to sometimes and I know I'm from the country, so my mom had to go work in the fields occasionally. Back in the day they went to pick peaches for money, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought about this. I told my wife about this. I'm like, I remember my mom going to the peach field, waking up in the morning, going to the peach field, catching the bus, and making like 35 cents a bucket.
Yeah.
And she picking 100 bucket, making $35 a day. But she coming home trying to cook and trying to make sure we have a meal. So I saw my mom working hard. And my
Mm-hmm.
dad also taught me, he did teach me something. He taught me not to be afraid of work because he put me out there in the field as well to work. We pick peaches, we pick squash, stuff like that. So I can say I learned that from him, the
Okay.
working aspect, and I would learn that from my mom too. So so you
Mm-hmm.
do learn something. You can take, and I just took pieces from everybody to try to make me whole or become the person I am. So
For sure.
I did a little bit of everything, taking from here, taking it from there, try to make me into a better person.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's exactly what happens. Even if there is an absentee parent, or there's something that you don't, um, you're not getting from the upbringing or the household or childhood, then you do create it for yourself. It's where it goes extreme, and so now I'll get personal. So, um, growing up in my household, it was very chaotic. It was an extremely dysfunctional family, and there's things that you say you wouldn't do that you end up being or saying or whatever. And then like my husband grew up in almost like the same type of family or household, and then we would discuss like sometimes I'm like, you're giving your children a childhood that you wanted. You're not even thinking about what they need. You're
Yeah,
trying to give them like, oh, I didn't have this, I didn't have this. Okay, but is that how they need to be loved? Is that how they want to be loved? Just
yeah.
because we didn't get, okay, what was the game that when we were children? It was
Mars
Atari.
being
Yeah,
fixed.
yeah. So it was like just because they didn't get an Atari doesn't mean you buy them whatever. I said because that's not what they want. Like certain children want certain things, and none
Yes,
of the children really. Yes, they want gifts, but it's more like one child wants just to have quality time. One child wants the physical touch. Like, ask them what they want. And so
mhm.
I'm glad you were able to decipher. Like, I'm gonna make sure my sons get what they need. Yes, there may be some wants they may desire, but I'm giving them what they need. And that is the part that I feel like even when those people are not present, the fathers are not present, you can still become, as I titled, the family man that you did not have. And you're doing a great job with that.
Well, thank you.
You're doing
Yes,
an excellent job with that. Because I know your son, you said they're 23. Are they 23 and 21?
23 and 22.
23 and
Yeah,
22.
they're a year apart.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you think your sons would describe you as a father?
Uh, uh, I think they would describe me as somebody my dad, who's he's serious at time. Most time he's serious. Sometimes he can be a little silly, but most time he's serious. And one of my son always say my favorite word was no, because I said no a lot. But I say no to the things that you might want, but I never said no to your needs. So he like no, no. And
Mhm.
speaking of, as they would say, as they are older now, they like that you did a great job with us. I think they would say that you did a great job with us. You taught us how to be present
Mhm.
and to help manage the household. I think they would say those type of things.
Mhm.
You showed us love by being able to tell us no and giving the things that we need. So that's how they probably describe their love for me, by being able
Yeah.
to say no to some of the things that they wanted and yes to all the things that they needed. So
Mhm. So would you say they would mostly say that you a provider, a protector, those type of things? Because I
most
hear that a
definitely,
lot from it. Okay.
yeah, most definitely.
So let me ask you this. Do your sons feel safe with you emotionally?
Most time they will talk to their mom when it's about emotional stuff, um, and they will occasionally come to me. But for the emotional part, they really um, cater towards their mom or gravitate to their mom about that. And you know Tiffany, she's good with that stuff. You know,
Mhm.
she's good with that stuff. So
Mhm.
I don't have any problem with that. But if I need, I show some emotion towards them. But if
Mhm.
they really need, I think they feel more safe talking to her about those things. But they
Mhm.
know they can come to me. Okay.
Okay.
So my reaction might be different than her reaction.
Oh, absolutely, it's gonna be different because like we're just different people for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, I just want to know if they felt safe
Oh
coming
yeah.
to you, and then now I'm gonna flip the question, same question, but I'm gonna flip it around. Do you feel comfortable when they come to you when it's like emotional feelings, thoughts, all that? How do you feel when
I
they
think I got
those
a
times that they do come
I
to you?
got a whole lot better than that, growing up, and not without a dad, but moms try to make you tough too. Talking about all that crying, stop all that crying. I know I used to have a
Mhm.
hard time with a kid when my son might cry. I'm like, man, stop all that crying, man up. But I have gotten better with that with the help of
Mhm.
my wife. I gotten
Mhm.
better with that. So it's okay for them to cry. I understand that now, and it's okay to show emotion. So I have gotten better
Mhm.
with that. But early on, growing up, trying to be the man of the house, because I'm the older of the siblings, so I had to
Okay.
almost be like the man.
Mhm.
So the crime stuff, I was not that great with it, but I have come around in my older
Mhm.
years. So I have
Mhm.
come around with that. But they would not have a problem coming with me about
Okay.
emotional things now. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah. So that's the conversation to have.
Yeah.
If you really ready, that's a
Mhm.
conversation to have, like to bring that up to them. Now I know you've come around. Now, excluding Tiffany, we're gonna take her off the play, off the board. If it were not for her, she's not part of the picture. What else do you feel like, or what was the thing that made you come around outside of Tiffany?
Well, times have changed.
Okay.
Things that we used to do back then, or things that was acceptable back then, is not acceptable now. For instance, I used to
Mhm.
be like homophobic.
Mhm.
I had a situation. Not nobody touched me, but I felt that I was hemmed up in a bad situation because I
Mhm.
used to make fun of this guy in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
I used to make fun of him, and one day I got hemmed up. I thought, they got tired of me making fun of him, and they surrounded me, and I'm like, oh man, this is not gonna go well. So I used to be a little homophobic with that,
Yep.
but now with time I had students that way, so I
Yep.
had to grow as a person as the time changed, and I have nothing against those people now. My son also taught me about
Mhm.
that. He grew up in a time where everything is so acceptable,
Yep.
and so you have to grow with the time, or if you don't, you just get passed by.
You
So
do.
I have to adjust. Everybody, the world have to adjust. So I have to adjust, and with all this mental health and all that stuff going around, you just have to make changes, and if not, you'll get passed behind, and you'll be like a dinosaur. So I want
Yeah.
I want to be there for my kids, and I also want to be there for my students. So I had to adjust
Mhm.
my thinking, my way of thinking, and things of that nature. So I can be a
Yeah.
better person. I can be a better father. I can be a better educator and husband. So I wanted to be better. So I had to make those changes.
Hmm. And I'm glad you did because I know you've heard this statement before. It says people don't care how much you know; they just care like how you make them feel.
Hmm.
That's it. Once you know you in that place of like, I just want to operate in how do I make one person feel? How does this person feel comfortable around me? It could be your wife, it can be your children, it could be the students. We just want you to put us in a place where we can trust you, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm glad you were able, like you said, I just need to move with the time, I had to change with the times. Because again, and that's a great example. Growing up in our generation, it's more like, I don't know about that, but it's like, okay, well, then this is what's happening. I don't want to get left behind, so I'm going to open my heart to understanding
Yeah.
or respecting. Doesn't mean you have to agree, but it's like
Yeah.
understanding, respecting those type of things,
Respect.
and that really does. Oh, Tip said he's an amazing man, girl. I know that's right. Shout your man out, um, and you are. And so that right there just makes everyone feel like okay, so I can definitely come to him. Going back to the title of the podcast, Men Cry in the Car, you say I don't cry all the time, but I do. I have cried. I've cried. You've allowed yourself to cry. Give me like one example or a time that you felt like the emotion was so intense and so this and so that, and you allowed yourself to cry. Doesn't matter if it was a sad moment. Doesn't matter if it was a happy moment. Just giving us
Well,
an example of when that was.
not tears hadn't fallen, but I felt myself crying in this moment. My football team this
Hmm.
year was not doing well. The
Hmm.
kids seem to be not vested, and I'm used to winning, so we win a lot. And this year been a very tough. It was a very tough year, and I shared with the guys this time. I felt myself getting very emotional. So we was having film session, and I saw that some of the guys are not putting forth effort in film. I'm like, you guys are lagging. Y'all,
Mm-hmm.
I can see now you're not invested. And then I told them about my wife, her situation,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I said, I know I don't know what's going on in y'all household after you leave here, but you guys don't know what's going on in my. I was trying to make myself vulnerable so they could see that I'm making I'm making strive to be better, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing I'm doing this and that. So y'all have to make multiple effort. So I told them about my wife's
Yeah.
situation, and many of them, and I don't know any of them, know that my wife is in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
I told them about that moment. I've been very transparent with them,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt the emotion all in my throat, and I almost came to tears. And I
Mm-hmm.
think by me sharing that, it made those guys a more. They felt now they feel like they really know me because I shared something with them that they didn't know. So that
Mm-hmm.
was a very vulnerable moment for me, and it almost had me in tears. But I held them back, Miss Lynn. I held them back, and I know it
Suck
should be
it
all
up. Suck it
cry,
up.
but
You
I
gotta
didn't
suck it
want
up.
to cry in front of them. But I got choked up, my voice
Mm-hmm.
was high, and I like, oh
Yeah.
good. But that was a very transparent and vulnerable moment for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I still I probably will never forget that because I shared with
Yeah.
them something they didn't know about me outside of school and football coach.
Mm-hmm.
I shared about the family man.
And I'm
So
glad you did because again, like you said, that connection, you probably saw a change immediately in the room or felt a change immediately in the
I
room.
did.
And probably after that, you probably start seeing them like, you know what, coach showed us this. He shared a side of him that we didn't know. Because a lot of times because I used to be an athlete too, I would look at my coach and be like, man, whatever, whatever. But when they start showing that they were like real people
Hmm.
and then that they cared about us, it was like, oh, so this is different. This is totally different. Especially when I had male coaches. My track coach was a male coach. Well, I had two. I had a female and a male. But that male coach, when he started showing emotion with us, he then got connection. He saw. No, we started showing him what he saw in us. And as a coach, I know you understand that.
Yeah,
So that's the part that was showing up. So let me ask you this. Okay. So family man. You've been a family man for 24 years, right?
soon to be
20,
24.
soon to be 24. And within those 24, soon to
No,
be
it's
24
already
years,
24. It's
okay,
already
so 24
24.
years. Okay, 24.
Mhm.
So within the 24 years, what would you feel like is your proudest moment as a man?
The proudest moment, I
Mm-hmm.
think, the birth of my kids. That's has to be up there. Seeing both of them being born, coming home, holding them in my arms. That was a proud moment. And I always wanted boys. So so my wife said, I said, hot damn, got a boy.
Mm-hmm.
So the proudest moment has been their birth, seeing them graduate, seeing them grow up to be young men. So all of
Mm-hmm.
those times are just proud moment. Proud moment. Those are all proud moments for me. Just
Yeah.
watching them grow, being able to be here with them, seeing them grow every step of the way. All
Mm-hmm.
of those proud moments. So the proudest
Mm-hmm.
has probably been the birth, but everything else after that still been proud. I'm very proud of both of them. You know, very proud.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, again, I love questions and I like twists and turns. So that would be your proud moment, right? As a man, you can say it as a father, as a husband, whatever. What is the moment you felt like, dang, I missed the mark? Dang, I wish I could have. Even if it's something that you don't feel guilty about or you have forgiven yourself about, what was a moment where you feel like, probably didn't do so well with that?
Well,
Not being ashamed with, but that moment.
but the thing
When,
is, my older son, uh,
mm-hmm,
he had his speech was not as very clear. He might
mm-hmm,
need some assistant,
mm-hmm,
and I refused the assistant, and And the reason why I did it is because I felt he didn't need. They said he needed speech class,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, nah, being an educator, and I see how they pull the kids out all the time during a crucial moment to take them to speech, and I'm like, he'll get over that. So
Mm-hmm.
that moment right there, I still kind of regret not giving him the allowing him to get that help that he might need it. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
that's the moment I look back and said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I should have done better, or
Mm-hmm.
should have put. I don't know if it was pride or not, but I should have put that
That's
aside.
the word that came up for me. I was going to ask you that.
What
Was
was
it pride? Was it pride like, oh no, I can help my own son. My son doesn't need help, or it was more pride like there's nothing wrong with him.
maybe a little bit both, but I felt that still, I'm still standing by that. I felt that he was be missing a lot of instructional time, and he was not already the best student, so he was not the best student. And I thought that that would hinder his instructional time. He get left behind with that because, as I said, I see how they pull the kids out during a crucial moment, and and as an educator, they don't make that time back up that they miss
Yeah.
while they're out. So, but I regret not doing that
Mm-hmm.
because
Okay.
it probably would have benefited him, and I don't know, but it probably would have benefited. I don't know how it would have turned out, but
Mm-hmm.
he's doing okay, but he could
Of
have been.
course. Of course. So let me ask you this: did you forgive yourself for that moment?
I have somewhat forgiven myself, but it still come
So
up.
that's no. Yeah. Okay. So that's
It still comes up.
no. So that's no. And Travis, I just want you to know you can forgive yourself, and when you find the space where you know that you are deserving of forgiveness, you
Hmm.
will do it,
Okay.
and you will be able to just say, "Okay, that was something that I did. We're gonna move on." I doesn't mean that I'm a good parent, bad parent, indifferent parent. That's just what I did at that moment. That's what I thought was best,
Hmm.
you know. And so, being in the space where you can also be vulnerable with yourself and say, "You know what? I'm going to forgive myself." You're going to see change in that too. Okay.
Okay.
And that was just a little side note because
Yeah.
that was like the little therapist hat that was right here. Okay. Anyway.
Well,
So,
give myself.
okay. Yeah. I mean, it really say it, like it really say it and mean it because you can, because I feel like when we don't forgive ourselves for certain things, we are the ones that's going to be holding on to it. You know, we hold on to a lot of things that can be very detrimental to us, which then shows up in emotions and all those things too. Um, So I will ask you to just not now, but like really when you get off, when you have time to yourself to like really sit with yourself and just forgive yourself for that moment and forgive yourself for a lot of things that you feel like you didn't do well because it's okay. Okay.
That's part of the healing process.
It is part of the healing process. And that's where I was about to go with it. So the healing process can look like anything for us. For me, I'm a therapist, of course. There's coaches, there's pastors, there's this, there's that with your healing journey or part of the healing process, as you say, who is part of your support team? What are you doing for healing?
I don't think I need. I don't think there's much I need healing from. Other than that, I do have people that I talk to. If I have friends that I speak to about situation. I have an older gentleman at my work that I speak to
Hmm.
a lot. He's like an older brother. So
Hmm.
if I do need to talk to somebody, I can talk to him about situation. I got a friend that I was in the military with. I can share
Hmm.
with him about situation. So those probably the two people that I go to outside of my wife. But some things, you
Outside,
can
yeah,
take to your wife, and
for
you just
sure.
yeah. So those are the two people I usually talk to if I need advice on situation or
Hmm.
need a different point of perspective. But those are the people I go to. I got two people in my corner that I go to about that stuff,
Okay,
about those things.
good. At least you have someone. Some people have no one.
Hmm.
Absolutely not. So let me ask this question. There's no healing process that you say. You retire from the military?
I did not. I just did a few years and I moved on.
You
You didn't
moved.
have.
Okay.
Yeah, I got out and decided to go to college. So
Got it. Okay. Okay. Because I was just like, ooh, military. Okay.
yeah, I was in the military, but my buddy who I was talking to, he stayed in and he retired. but we still close today.
Okay. So, if there's any advice that you would give a man going through a healing journey, doesn't feel like he needs to go through a healing journey, but still needs support from others, friends, someone around, because again, in this game called life, we don't need to do it alone.
No.
What advice would you give to any man that really felt like they needed something, was searching for something, needed healing, do whatever? Like, what advice would you give?
Uh, Let me think. So I would think you need to be comfortable in your own skin. You
Hmm.
got to accept yourself for your who you are, and if you need healing, when you need healing, you have to seek somebody that you trust, somebody you believe in, somebody you look up to, somebody that you definitely can confide in, and um, and go from there. So you want to make sure you seek them out. Be honest with them. Tell them how you feel. Tell them what's on your heart, and make sure that you are being 100 with them. Make sure that they understand what you're saying and listen to them. If they have something to say. You want to listen to them because you are going to them for that help. And so make sure you open to hear what they say. Maybe
Hmm.
be something that you might not want to hear. You still got to be open to hearing it, and
Hmm.
then make a decision for yourself once you hear all their advice, hear their perspective of it. But eventually, you're gonna have to make that decision for yourself. But hear somebody out, listen without talking. And sometimes, as men, we want to talk, but we don't want to listen. So it's
Hmm.
okay to listen. You have to listen.
Yeah,
So
but that's good. I really enjoyed us talking. I do want to say, like, if there's a space, like, you're an educator, you're a mentor, you're doing those things with the boys at the school. Is there anything that you're doing in the community that you want to share? Like, anything, like any events coming up, any games coming up, like anything you want to share, where someone can like support you in the
well,
community?
I don't have any events at the moment. Football season is over with, so usually we try to do some
Mhm.
events during football season. But since football season is over, I don't have any events, anything planned.
Okay. Well, if you have anything planned in the future, you let us know.
Okay.
Because here, as I stated before, um, I'm the host of Men Cry in the Car, but this community is not for me. It's for y'all. It's for people to come in, like men to come in and say, "Hey, I connected with Travis. I want to reach out to him." Or, anybody, because men are actually doing that. There are several men that have come to me, personally or DM whatever, and say, you know what, when you had such and such on, I didn't get that. Can you give me his information because I really want to talk to him? So you just never know whose life you are impacting when it comes to this. A wife, a spouse may be watching this and say, you know what, my husband sounds just like Travis. He's this, he's that. Maybe let me let him watch this episode. So I thank you for coming on because again, you just don't know how you share your story, how you give us information, how it's going to bless another person. Okay.
Right. And if
So
you have anybody like that, I don't mind if you share my information with them. If you have anybody.
absolutely, absolutely, because I'm telling you, they come out and they resonate with a lot of y'all. So you're not alone either. You may see an episode, you may say, hey, I like such and such. Do you have this information? That's how it works, right?
Okay.
So Travis, any last words?
Uh, hey, be true to yourself, and also make sure you put yourself, take care of yourself as well as take care of your family. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and you will be blessed. You do those things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Don't leave. I'm gonna take you down. But I'll end the podcast and I want to come to you. So just stand by, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Everyone, thank you so much again for episode 21 of Men Cry in the Car podcast. Thank you so much. So I will say this before we end. We have one more, I think we have two more episodes for the end of the year. After that, we're no longer going to be on Facebook. You need to subscribe today. Subscribe today so you don't miss any of these episodes because Men Cry in the Car podcast is really blessing the people. As I say, as always, men, I see you, I hear you, and I support you. Talk to you soon.